Okay, someone's decided to vacuum. Welcome to my channel, and today, to kick off the new year, I thought I would talk about something that is seen as typically taboo and a lot of people don't want to talk about. I wanted to do a video about some tips that's helped me through my years of suffering with depression. I still suffer with depression, and I have found it so hard to come on camera and talk about these issues, because I had a fear of people judging me, and like people that I personally know, and I just was scared of that. And I just thought to myself, it's 2017, what better way to make a video about something that is typically taboo, and that people don't want to talk about, and let people know that if you are going into the new year feeling depressed, there are things that you can do to help. I think it's important to talk about, and I think even if one person watches this video and it helps them to get their life back on track, then I will feel like I've done a job. That's one extra person who can inform another person, and that's all I want to do with my channel, is help people. It's not about, you know, building up a massive community of people, although even if it's just a small group of people who can come to my channel, who feel like it's a place where they can be informed and educated, then I feel like I'm doing what I want to do with YouTube, and that is to do this video. And I'm going to share 5 tips that I use personally to help me with depression. So for me, tip number 1 is to talk. I think this is probably the most important tip out of all the tips that I'm going to give today. And I think talking about your problems or issues or feelings or whatever it is that's bothering you, that's getting you into that depressive state, is important. For me, I personally I'm not comfortable with talking to people too close to home when I'm severely depressed, although when I'm at the stage where I can feel it coming on, or I feel a little bit down, then I'll talk to friends and family, and to my boyfriend, and people like that. But one thing that happened to me is to talk to someone who's external, someone that you feel like you won't be judged by, because you know they have no connection to you. So I've tried therapists and counsellors and stuff like that. It doesn't always work, it depends on what the issue is, but it's something that has worked. It's definitely something that helped me to deal with but I'll talk about dealing with grief in a whole another video. But I think definitely to talk to someone that you feel comfortable with, or someone who's external, can really help you with some of those feelings. It just feels like a weight is lifted off your shoulder, and if you can just let that out, you know, you're already on the pathway to getting and feeling better. For me, I kept a journal, and it's just a little notebook where I kept all of my thoughts. In the summer of 2015, I had a really bad time, and I think it was probably one of the worst depressive states I ever got myself into, with suicidal thoughts, and I will explain that in a whole nother video what happened there. And I just got in a relationship with my boyfriend, and everything was going well with him. It just probably wasn't the best time for me to get in a relationship at the time, but we're still together, so obviously it couldn't have been that bad. But I kept all of my thoughts in here, in this little book, little motivating message. Yeah, nothing is impossible, and I believe that's true. Nothing is impossible, no matter how you're feeling. you can come out of it. And I'm not trying to preach or anything to anyone, but it really helped me, because when I felt like nothing else was working, like talking to people, just writing a quote that I really liked. Here, the quote that I wrote was, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." And I thought that was a really good way to get myself out of that state. And I spoke about some of the stuff that I did today, and had a little self-reflection, and then the positives of the day I spoke about, and the friendships and relationships that I have that are really good. And I think that's important to really think about the positives that you have in your life. We can all sit there and be like, this is wrong with my life, this is wrong with my life, this is wrong with my life. But what is actually good? And I'm sure there's something, even if it's just like, oh, you saw a really beautiful dog, or your friendships are really great at the moment and your friends are really there for you. That's something that's really good in your life, or you're doing really well in uni or college or at work or whatever. There's always something, I'm sure, that everyone can talk about that's positive. But the thing is, with society, we just dwell on the negative things. And I used this journal, and it really helped me to think about everything that was positive in my life, even though I was going through a really hard time. And it helped me, and I stopped writing in it because I realised I had nothing really to talk about in terms of how I was feeling. I wasn't feeling depressed anymore, and as we go through this journal, you can see it gets less and less and less and less, and I just didn't write in there, but I always come back to it if I feel like I need somewhere to vent or talk, and I think it's really important. So just get yourself a little. Okay, so tip number 3 is to channel your thoughts and feelings through a hobby. I think this is really important to do, to not think and forget the things that you love with life. For me, it's doing anything that's theatre based, anything in the arts, acting, dancing, directing, anything like that. I actually study a theatre degree as well, so my degree is my hobby and my passion, and I write plays, I write poems sometimes, and it's what I generally love to do, and I think that's one thing that we forget when we're in those depressive states. We just want to stay in bed all day, we don't want to see anyone, we don't want to go outside, we don't even want to open the curtain. If you've ever got to that point, is a really, that is a really bad place to be in, and I've been at that point where I didn't even want to have a shower in the morning, and it sounds disgusting, but that is what it's like when you're severely depressed. You want to do nothing. There's nothing that anyone can say to you that is going to make you feel like you can do it. What I mean is you should get up, and I think when it comes to mental health, you can't help someone that doesn't want to be helped, and that's why I'm doing this video, to talk about all the options that you can do to help yourself, or the ways that you can go forward to get that help that you need. So find something that you really love doing. It could be drawing, it could be going for walks, it could be just going out with friends, like shopping, or just whatever you like to do, and remember why you love to do it. And for me, writing poems about my mum's death, which I'll share in other videos, it really helped me to come out of my depressive nest and shell, and actually remember why I'm worth living, why I am worth staying alive, basically, because there's all these things that I love doing, and there's all these people that I make laugh, and you just got to think about the positives, and that's such a hard thing to do when people are telling you, stop being so negative, or just be happy. But once you get it in your own mind to do that, that can really help you get out of that state. So tip number 4, I love this one, and it's something that I've only just been practicing for just over 2 months now, so I'm by no means an expert in this area, because it's something that you have to practice for many years. For me, what I did is I did an 8-week course. My university offered it for free, and it was amazing, and I'm glad that I did it. And I did an 8-week course on mindfulness. Just looking for the book, that's what I was looking for. Mindfulness, I feel, has completely changed my attitude, my thoughts, my feelings. Again, it's worked for me, it might not work for you, but it's worked for me, and I think it's worth talking about, and I really recommend this book. And this is, make sure that it's in shot. Yep, this is the mindfulness book, and it's about finding it's a practical guide to finding peace in a frantic world. And I've spoken to people, a few people in my life who are suffering with depression, and I really recommend this book, because I feel like it changes the way you think about the world that you live in. We think about, oh, this is wrong with my life, and this is wrong, and I don't have money to do this, and I feel like this, and we think about all the negatives, and that is the problem, and that is why the black dog takes over, because that is those negative thoughts and feelings that we keep on thinking, rather than all of the things that's positive about our life. And mindfulness has really taught me how to think like that, just in everyday life. Final tip number 5 is a tip that I think is very important, is up there with tip number 1 about talking. Is about knowing yourself well enough to know when you're going to get in one of these states. For me, I can't explain the feeling, I just know when I can feel a decline in my behaviour and my feelings and thoughts. And because I've been suffering with depression for 8 years, I feel like I know myself well enough now to know when I'm starting to feel a certain type of way. And I remember last year, I got in a really bad state where uni, I wasn't sure if it was for me. I still don't think uni is for me, but I stuck at it. And I'll do a whole other video about my uni experience. I've had an interesting one. And I wanted to leave uni in second year. I hated second year. And I remember saying to my boyfriend, I can feel it coming. And it was at that point where I went to go and talk to the counsellor. Know yourself. Know when you're getting into the state, or when you can feel a decline in your feelings, and think about what you can do to help that and sort that out before it becomes to take over your life. I think that's really important. Anyway guys, I hope this helped. Those are the things that's helped me over the 8 years of dealing with depression, and all of the stresses that I've had since my mum passed away. So it's really helped me, and I feel like some of these things could help someone out there, whoever comes across my video. I really hope this helped, and I hope that this is gonna inspire someone who's in the world, who hasn't had the best start to 2017, to kind of try some of these things out, and maybe you can have a better new year. Also, if you have any more tips that I didn't say, please leave it down below, because like I said, this is still something that I'm constantly dealing with in my life. So I'd love to know a tip, or some tips, or collection of tips, or whatever, about some of the ways that you help your depression, and if it's helped you, or if you felt like it didn't work for you but it might work for someone else. I would really like to know. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram and Snapchat at Lashana Lou, at Lashana B, and I'll leave those in the description box and put it on the screen as well. Yeah, and hopefully, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!